you mind just introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about what you do here at Constant Therapy?
Absolutely, yeah. My name is Olivia. I am one of the support team members here at Constant Therapy. Most of what I am doing on a day-to-day basis is taking incoming phone calls and incoming emails, messages from forms on our website, responses to surveys, taking all that and getting back to people as soon as we can in terms of questions or issues or concerns that they might have. A lot of the time, I am also making adjustments to people's programs. While I'm not a speech language pathologist, I am very familiar with the app and the exercises and can give, insight onto what might be good to try or to work on. Well,
What if we have a user who, they see your video here and they're like, well, I'd love to call and I'd love to speak to Olivia, but they're just too nervous to pick up the phone. What do you say to someone like that?
please call because we are more than happy to help and to slow down and take it at your pace and meet you where you are if you need support. Oftentimes, it is easier for us to help over the phone than it is over email, but you might just not be comfortable getting on the phone and you might not be there yet, and that's okay. Writing an email and reaching out is great. Providing as much detail as you can in that email is also very useful. Maybe you might reach out to someone to help you write that email so that you have some support if writing and typing is also maybe not a strong suit at the time as well as speaking on the phone. But really, if you are thinking of calling and you're feeling nervous, just know that someone else has called us who is more nervous than you. And they have done it and we've solved their problem. And the number of times people have been on the phone with me and said, like, oh, this is just going to be too complicated. I'm not going to be able to do this with you. And I'm like, it's okay. Like, let me give it a couple more minutes and then we can give up. Like that's okay. But stick with me a little longer and then we fix it. And they're so satisfied at the end and proud of themselves. And sometimes you just need someone to push you forward a little bit. And
Well, so with that phone call, email, however someone wants to get in touch with us, how do you want them to feel after they've, hung up or resolved their issue? What impact do you want to impart on them from that? What do you hope they get out of it?
all that you normally want when you are in customer support. But I also really hope people feel that they are proud of themselves for accomplishing something after we get off the phone, because that means we hopefully got their concern resolved. And so whatever was an issue is not an issue anymore. But it also means that, this caregiver who's so stressed and thinking about a million things can check that one thing off their list. Or the patient who's using the program, who maybe was nervous to call at first, feels empowered that they can take on maybe a different task independently. One thing that I don't think I considered before starting this job is that you do talk to a lot of people who are grieving.
Mhm.
They have lost a loved one who maybe was using the program, or their loved one is transitioning into hospice, or they've had another event in their life, a neurological event. Um, and being able to even just like make a small space for someone's grief in a moment like that is really important to me. Those are some of my favorite moments is when I can like really learn about someone in their life and their experience and have just making some space for them in their day, because so often people call and they just need someone to talk to.
If you were to talk to a customer service representative for an organization outside of that space, I mean, there's a lot of them.
Mm.
What tips would you share to those individuals as far as how they might interact with someone who has aphasia or other communication impairments?
I would say really breaking things down into pieces because the following steps and directions is a big challenge for people. So sometimes what like I might initially think as step one, two, and three can actually be step one, two, three, four, five, and six if you are really, taking things down to a granular level, which sometimes is the best way to communicate. One thing that I think surprised me was to learn that so many people assume that someone who has had a stroke or a TBI or someone who's living with, cognitive or speech difficulties, that some people see them as less intelligent, which is obviously so unfair, knowing that the person inside is still the same. It is just what they are able to express and get out. We talk about invisible disabilities. This is almost the reverse, where we see someone with kind of this outward presenting issue that we then assume has all these internal reflections on intelligence or functioning or health in general, when really they're not always exactly the same, just in the way that you can look and sound completely fine, but internally be struggling quite a great deal.